Okay, fine. Let us start the class. Actually, I was waiting for a few more people to join, but anyway, we have a less strength today. I don't know the reason, but let us continue with the second unit, that is the JavaScript. Just anyone can reply me that they are I'm audible to them, as well as my screen is in presentation mode.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, fine. But there is some problem with the camera. It is very dull, I suppose. There is because of the lighting over here in the environment. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So we will continue with the JavaScript. Now, last class we left at the document object. That is, I told you there are two things, two more important objects in JavaScript. That is the document, and the other one is the window object. Now, this document object, we have talked somewhat about the document object. There is another thing called as the window object. Now, we have just seen this, that is document.write. We have been using several times. And we have seen one more thing in the last class, property, that is document.title. Now, what we will do is, there are few more, I mean, there are a lot of other things with respect to this document object, that is get element by ID, get elements by name, and so on, so things. And then we also have an object called as window, that is the whole, the browser application itself is considered as a window. Now, before we move on to the details of how to access these objects, or how to use the access the properties of this of these objects, that is document and window, we will look at something known as a very important thing, actually, known as the event handling in JavaScript. Then we will come back and look at these two objects in detail. Why I'm saying, because we need to look at the event handling and then we will come back, is it doesn't make sense to use these document and window properties of these document and window objects here at this instance, because here we have seen we are writing a functions, and we are calling these functions, writing and calling these functions here in the script tag itself. But the actual purpose is to execute these functions when something happens. That is an event. That's something happens on a web browser. That's an event. So nobody is going to write use these functions. Obviously, we are going to write these functions within the script tag itself, because that's a JavaScript. But we are not going to call these functions here itself, like display, sum, and all these things within the JavaScript itself. We have to call these functions, or these functions, the purpose of JavaScript, that is to provide the dynamic functionality, is that we have to call these functions from somewhere within the HTML. From within the HTML, that is, whenever some user does something, we need to interact with the user according to what the user wants. So before we move on to the details of these two document and window object, we will look at a concept of something known as event handling. Now, this event handling, it's not a new thing. It's there in Java also. For example, when swings is there, when you have AWT and applets, we have events there. So anyway, that's just I wanted to say that it's not a new thing in JavaScript. It's event handling has been there for every graphical user interface or applications which uses graphical user interface. So an event is basically any action that is performed by the any action that is performed on a web page is known as an event in this case, in this sense. So any action that is performed on a graphical user interface is known as an event. Like, for example, I let's take this itself. Now, for example, I'm just trying to click here, click where here, meeting details on the below web page. So this is an event there actually. Now I'm clicking how many people are there. I'm just trying to see how many people are there. I'm clicking that uh, show everyone button over here or a link. If you see, when I click this, there is an event happening. When I click a button, there is an event which happens. So everything that happens on a web browser or a web page is known as an event. Like just now we have seen clicking a button is an event. Clicking a link will be an event, as well as selecting some options will be a event. Not only that, when I'm moving my pointer, when I'm moving a pointer on a web page, that movement is also an event because the pointer is moving from one location to another location. I mean, obviously pixels are getting changed. So this also is an event here. Now, what we need is when an event happens, we have to handle that event. So JavaScript uses a predefined properties through which we can handle these events. For example, when we click a button, there is an event handler associated with that event. And it's a predefined event handler. That is, there is a property there in JavaScript of the object that when an event occurs, that event handler will be called and that event is handled. That is, when you click a button or when you click a link, there is an event, and how it is handled is we move on to the next page depending upon the URL in the source. So that's an event there. Now, event handlers are nothing but just like functions. So to handle an event, we have to write a function and associate that event with the function. So in Java, I mean, obviously, event handlers are again, since it's a function, I'm telling you, event handler, it is written inside the script tag itself in JavaScript. So these functions, what we have written right now over here, is nothing but we have just written. This was for demonstration purpose. Obviously, we are not going to, compute the sum of two numbers over here, or we are not going to see some, a display method or something. This was just for the to demonstrate how function works. So event handlers are also functions. Now, we will look at how to associate and how they are called, how the functions are called, so and so. Now, when I'm saying there are predefined event handlers, I'll just remove this document and object. When I'm saying there are predefined event handlers, that means there is some defined thing in JavaScript. So let us take an example. In this form, I suppose this is the web page we are having. We had all date, everything displayed over here. Just below this college and all, I'm just over here. I'm going to create. Let me create a button. Obviously, it's above the college itself. I'll create a button. Now you know that button is created using input tag. And forget about whether it is there in the form tag or not. Just as a sample, I'm telling you as an example. And type, and we give this type as, let's say, button. And then value, that is what that button should be called. Let us say that click me, that as the value. And then I'll just close this one. I'll just close this input. That's all. Let me just save this and refresh. And here we have a button like click me. Obviously, it's on the same line. So let us give a BR tag over here so that we don't have any confusion. BR tag so that we don't have any confusion. So this is a button created. Now here you have a button created. Click me. When I'm clicking, there is nothing happening. This is an event. When I'm clicking here on the button, if you are able to see or not, I don't know. But when I click this button, nothing happens. But there is an event which is happening. Clicking of this button is an event. When I'm clicking this button, whether I use a mouse or whether I use an enter key uh, using the keyboard, it's an event here. It's happening. But the event happens, but there is no result of that event. Nothing is happening when I'm clicking it. This is because I have this, the button is already created. Now, clicking is an event on that, but I need to write an event handler for that. We need to specify the event handler for that. So the general syntax of event handler is this may be the any HTML tag, like here we are using input tag. Then we should have an event handler name. Let me say event handler name equal to, that is, it's like a attribute equal to, within quotes we need to provide the JavaScript of that event. So event handlers are generally assigned or associated with the tag. Obviously, it can be any type, it doesn't matter. Tag, and then we should have the event. Obviously, all the other properties will work as it is. We should have an event handler equal to, that is the name of the event handler, equal to the JavaScript code. Now, here this JavaScript code can be anything. Anything in the sense, any valid JavaScript. Now, we can have a single line of a code here, single statement directly, or we can also, if there are multiple statements that needs to be executed, then we will be calling the function name from the event. Now, let us take a simple example. There are so many events, but let us take an example of an event handler. That is, what are we doing here? I'm clicking this button. So when I'm clicking this button, there is an event, predefined event there. That event is nothing but on click. On click. The event is on click. For this button, click me button, the event is when I'm clicking on click. Though there are several events that can be there, the several event handlers, and for each event there is a different event handler associated. So here I have having on click. So this is the event I'm using now. So when I'm clicking here, on click event will be, I'm trying to handle that on click event. There may be several events, but right now I'm handling on click event. And this on click event or a click event with on click. Now here I should have the JavaScript code to say that when I click that, or when that event happens, clicking that button, that's an event happens, there should be some JavaScript code that has to be executed. Now, to demonstrate that, I told you that we have with the document object. With the document object, I told you that we have one more object known as window. Object. Now, this window object, actually, document object refers to the place where the content is displayed. So this is all as part of the document, whatever I have selected till the end. So this complete area on which the content can be displayed is a document. Can be document object handles this area. Then the browser window, the application, that is the browser window itself. This browser window, the entire browser window, this is handled using the window object. This is handled using the window object. So here in window object, we have something known as alert, something known as an alert function, method of the window object. So what we will do is within this, where are we here? Within this on click event handler on click event. Here, what we will do is we will handle the alert. So I will use window like we used document dot write method. The same way I'll use window dot alert. That's a method alert, and then I'll give a semicolon also. This alert method will take single quotes, or we can also have a double quotes, but it's much better to have single quotes. I'll tell you why. This alert button actually uses a string using double quotes, but we don't use double quotes here. We use single quotes. It's valid in Java. In JavaScript, it is valid. Now, what I will display the alert as, I will say that this button is clicked. That's my message I want to display to the user. So here we will use single quotes, and this is a string actually passed in a single quotes. Now, why we don't use double quotes here? Because the on click is a property. It's an attribute. It's an event. It's an attribute. So equal to, we already have the value for the attribute of the this tag, that is input tag. Any attribute will have the attribute name, then the value of the attribute equal to value of the attribute in double quotes. So here you can find that you have a tag as the attribute of this tag, that is input tag, and button is the value of the attribute type, and every value is within double quotes. So here also this is an attribute on click for input tag, but actually it's an event. So then value should be in double quotes. So that is what we are having. We are having the opening of the opening of the quotes, double quotes, closing of the double quotes. So when this itself is an opening and closing of the double quotes, we cannot have double quotes over here. If I use double quotes, that means this property has ended. It's only this much as the string which is a property. So there will be a lot of confusion when we use single quote to pass the string. And here we have semicolon. That is, we may or may not use a semicolon, but it's much better to use a semicolon. Because what happens is here I can have multiple statements in JavaScript. Multiple statements written in JavaScript. So if I'm writing another statement, I'll write it over here, and I'll write that statement over here, let's say semicolon. So, we don't do that, but the reason for having semicolon is that we can have multiple JavaScript statements within the double quotes that are assigned to the event. So now this is the event, click is the event, and on click is the event handler. That event, is associated with this JavaScript code, which is within double quotes. So let me just save this, and the alert, the message in the alert is nothing but this, the button is clicked. That's the message. So I've saved it. Let me just refresh this page. I'm refreshing this page. Now here we have the button. If I do anything else, if I click any other button, nothing happens, because this things, obviously this is for register page. And I'm clicking other buttons, nothing is happening because I'm selecting, nothing is happening because events are happening, but there is no event handler associated with that. But here I have click me. Now when I click this, you can find that we have a alert box, a pop-up box. Now I cannot do anything else. I cannot even move the web page. This is the alert box over here. This page says, can you find it here? This button is clicked. Are you getting? This button is clicked. That's an alert box. Now, uh, I can go back to this page only if I click OK. So, if there is no event handler, nothing will happen. Event may occur, but since event handler is not associated with that event, uh, there is no processing done. But here we have written the event hand. There is an event handling on the click me button. When I'm clicking this button, there is an event which we are handling. That is on click is the event. And this on click event, such and such thing has to happen. That is obviously we used window.alert just as an example there. So to demonstrate that, when we click that button, something happens. Now, let me click OK. Now, when I'm clicking this event is happening. But if I say click here, nothing happens. Why? Because there is an event. Click on click is an event is happening on the click button. But there is no event. I'm not handling that event. There is an event happening, but there is no event handle for that. I'm not handling that event. So this click clear over here is there's no what do you call event handler associated with it. So let me do one thing. This is just a sample button. Let us come into this place where we have the clear button. This is the clear button or reset button. We had the type as reset. Now let us handle the event here. Again, there are several other events, but right now we are saying on click event. So we will use on click. Click event we are saying we will use on click. In here also we will use window dot alert. And within single quotes, I'll give the message as the purpose of this clear button is to reset everything. So I'll just give the message as data will be lost. I'll say. So that's the message I'm giving. So let me save this. No, before saving it, I'll just click here. Nothing is happening because on click event is happening on this button, but we don't have the event handle. So now we have on click as the event handler we have written, and the procedure that has to be handled is also written. So let me save this and refresh once more. So now once this is refreshed, just click me. This button is clicked as the event. This is how we handle the event. And now when I click clear, I'll get the message as data will be lost. That is what we have provided in the event. So this was the basics of event handling. Now this is just the one event we have seen. This is just one event we have seen. Now there are several events that can happen. There is a whole lot of different events that can happen. Now, before moving to look at several different events that can happen, we will just play with this the event handling, and we will just look at how different methods of this window object works as well as the document object works. I'll just close this file, register file, and let me create a new HTML. I'll just copy this and paste it over here, and let me say that let's say Java event. Events. This is just any name you can give, doesn't matter. It's just for the demonstration purpose. So I'm just going to remove this CSS, this JavaScript. Let me keep it as it is. This part here, just just making things simple. And here also all these things are simple. So anyway, here we don't have anything, any of the HTML content that is displayed. I'll just save this and let me open it. I have a blank page. Now, to demonstrate this document, the methods which are there in document object, and this what do you call the window object. Let us look at. Let us create a form, and I'm not going to have any action for that form and so on right now. Let us say we have a method. Let's say method as get, and the action we will not have any action. Oh, sorry, comma here. Action as blank. Just let us have blank. Then we will create an input. Let's say type as text field. So type as text. Then what is the other thing? Name. Let me have name as let's say this is the student name itself. In student name, this is the input field. So S, let's say S name. I think that's all for now. We will have a PR tag so that we have spaces. Then next, let's say roll number. And here also we'll just have the input tag. Next, let's say roll as the name. And then we will create a button. So, input type. Let us click the button type as submit. And the value as, let's say, register. Just the sample we are using, doesn't matter. Slash. Okay. Now let me just open this. You can find that there is a window. I mean, there is this thing created, a form created with student name, roll number, and register button. Okay. Now we will use some things of JavaScript. Now, when I just have this click register, actually it's going to go to some web page. So instead of this register button, I'll just I'll not use this as a submit. I'll just make it as a normal button, so that when I'm clicking, it doesn't submit the data anywhere. Now we will try to look at an event, that is when we are clicking this event, when we are performing clicking this button. What we will do is we will try to retrieve the data which is typed in this box, in the text box of student name. We will also retrieve the data typed in the roll number field when I click register button. So when I'm clicking register button, that means we need to have a event. Which event? Click event. That is, the click event is happening. So we will have on click. This on click. I'm just giving a space here, though it will not be reflected in the web page. On click, I'm giving. In this on click, we have already seen window dot alert. We have seen window dot alert. What does window dot alert does? It displays whatever we have given in the message as the argument. Let me save this and refresh it, when I'm clicking here, this is the message is getting displayed. Some message I have just typed. And this we have seen directly using the JavaScript here, the statement of the JavaScript. Now what we will do is, we will actually create a method here. So I'll say display is the method. I'll not, we can use the arguments also, but let us not use any argument. Instead of using this, instead of using alert this way, I'm just copying everything from here into this function. So I'll let us get this within this. This is our predefined function, that is display as a predefined function. So what I will do is window.alert. Then in this here, what I will say is, I'll say first window, first alert. I'll say, let's say first alert. Then what happens is, we will have multiple statements. Let's say first second alert, and this is the third alert. Third alert. And let me save this. Now what we did is, we have written a function. So obviously this is also within script tag. We have written a function here, and this function, the name of this function is display. You know how to write this function, we have already discussed. Display is the name of the function. Now here, what I want is, when this event, when an event of clicking this button happens, register button happens, it should call the function, display function, and all these things should execute. So obviously when all these things should execute means there should be some call made to the display function. Now if I call this display function here itself, if I call this display function here itself, then it is the same thing what we have seen for that sum of two numbers and so and so. And this will be executed when the page loads, not when this is clicked. So if I call this display function here itself, in the script I have written display function I'm calling here itself, means there is nothing that will happen when I click register button. It will execute when the page loads, when this script tag is encountered. But that's not the correct way. So I'll just remove the display from here. Then over here in this button, I will call that display method. This directly, I'll say display, open and close parenthesis, semicolon. Now the difference is that earlier what we were using is window.alert over here. That is, we were calling a predefined function. I mean, we have not predefined, we are calling a defined function, alert, which is there as part of the window object. Now here what we are doing, we are calling our defined function, our own function, which is displayed what we have written. And when this event happens, clicking event happens, on click event is the event is the link between event and the event handler. And to handle this event, we are calling display function. So the control goes to this display function, and one statement after the other within this display function will be executed. So let us refresh this, and I'll click register. Oh, sorry, I have not saved it. That is why it's giving me the previous code. Let me just save this one. I'll refresh it. I'll click register. You can find first alert. That means this statement, the first statement has been executed. Now remember that this alert box, what actually happens is, this alert box, it's a method which opens a dialog box, and the execution stops until and unless user clicks that OK. He confirms that. So when I'm clicking OK, only then the second statement will be executed. So actually the browser pauses its execution right now. So when I click OK, you can find that there is a second alert dialog box has appeared. Now when I click this OK, I mean when I'm clicking OK, only then this dialog box uh, closes its execution, and then I'm getting as a third alert. And when I'm clicking this, the complete execution is ended because this function has this JavaScript function ended its execution. Now, apart from this alert, window.alert, actually this alert, instead of using window, I can directly use alert. I can directly use alert. So I'll just remove the other two alerts. I can directly use alert instead of window dot, and I click it, the alert works, first alert. So unlike the document object where you have to use document dot, a window methods we can directly use. Now in window object, there are other as we have alert as one of the method which displays the dialog box, wherein we just have a message and an OK button. Apart from this alert, we also have a confirm button. So it's over here in place of this alert, I'll just use a confirm button. Now this confirm button, let me save this. This it's the message itself is saying let the message be first alert itself. I'll just refresh this. When I click it, the difference is that the alert will only have an OK button. That is, just gives the image. Just gives a dialog or a message to the user. If he clicks OK, the execution continues. The confirm method, and you're using this confirm method. This confirm method actually has a yes and no option. That is OK and cancel. Now, this returns actually, this method returns, the confirm method returns a value, true or false. So we can look at this value over here. I'll just use the document, not document. Yeah, I'll use document dot write method. And this method, what I'll do is we will save the value of in a variable, let's say var v equal to confirm. This var v equal to confirm method. And we will display this v value. Let me save this. For timing, if I click OK, nothing happens. I'll refresh this. I'm saying clicking register, the confirm dialog has appeared. If I click OK, it says true. Are you getting it? I'm clicking OK, it's saying true. And let me go back. Okay, let me go back. If I click this, register. When I click cancel, are you able to see I'm getting false as the result? This option is not there in this option is not there in the in alert box, alert dialog. Only in confirm dialog we have yes and no. The other third thing is prompt. Prompt, P-R-O-M-P-T. That is, this not only takes, the first thing we have seen for alert is that it displays a message. There is only one option to accept that is OK. In confirm, we have two things. We have a message. You can say OK, or you can click cancel. If you click OK, it is true is returned. If you click cancel, false is returned. That means, I mean, we may then use this, what we say, this part, that is, we can use if condition, that is if T, that means if it is true, then do something else. If it is true, do something else, do something else. So we can use that. That's the reason we are having true and false. Now, the prompt, that is with what true and false is with respect to our confirm button. I mean, not button, sorry, confirm method. And then we have third thing as a prompt. With this prompt, we will be able to take the input from the user. So I'm just having the text as it is, but I mean, just let us look at this, then we will move further. I'm just refreshing this, and we will click register. Now, can you find that there is a message which says first alert? Obviously, it doesn't make sense. And then there is an input box where user can type his own message now. User can use something else now. I mean, he can give his own data as an input. So let me say hello, and just click OK. So can you find hello is displayed? No, it's not true and false. It is hello which is getting displayed. Why? Because the the confirm method return true and false depending upon OK or cancel button. Prompt returns the value. It returns a value which is nothing but I mean data entered by the user. So if you enter hello in this, you enter anything and click OK, that value is returned. But what happens if you if I'm typing hello and click cancels? Then it's not false which is returned, it is null is returned. Why? Because you can observe that null is returned. Why? Because this part, that is OK and cancel. In prompt when you are using prompt, when OK, the value within this field is returned. When you say cancel, that means nothing is there. So it's like null is returned, nothing, cancel, no data to return. Now what happens if I just keep this blank and click OK? Nothing is displayed. Why? Because this is not treated as a null or undefined. It is treated as a blank, an empty string. So there is a difference between null and empty string. So that is what there are three things here with respect to the window object, which we have done, we have seen. That is what I told you. We will first look at the start with the events, then come back and look at these two objects. That is the document object and the window object. So that is what we have looked now. We have seen just this one. I mean, event handling is not complete. I mean, it's not even 10% complete actually. We have just taken as a demonstration, we have just started event handling, and we have seen on-click event. That's the one event we have seen. Now then, this event we can directly call the statements here, write the statements here in JavaScript, or we can call function. I mean, a function which is a predefined method we can call, or predefined function we can call. Or we can also call user-defined function. That is, in this case, display. It's a user-defined function, which I have written it here. So, and when the button is clicked, then this function is called. That is, display is the function which is called, and this the statements within this display function will be executed. Then we looked at the window object. We came back and looked at the window object. That is what all is there in the window object. Window object has got three things. One is alert, the alert method. The other one is the confirm method, and the third one is the prompt method. So there are three different methods here, which is there in the window object, which we need to use. Now, this we have seen this prompt, alert, and so on, so things, and we, I mean, here you can have, instead of first alert, I'll just say enter value. Let's say enter value, and let me save this, and we are writing that value on the document object itself. Just click here, you can see that we have enter value as this one. So I'll just say hello, and I'll click OK. So hello is written on the document. Remember that it's written on the document. That's the web page. But I can not only that, I can here also instead of using document.write, I can use alert, and instead of a string in quotes, I will pass v itself. I'll pass v itself. That is whatever value is entered by the user that is stored in v, and we are using another window object to display that value. So let us execute this. Let me save this and refresh it. I'll click register. This prompt is there. I'll just say hello world and click OK. When I'm clicking OK, you can find that this is the alert dialog box which appears. I click OK over here. So it's not the document which the result gets displayed. So these are the, I mean, this was what was the basics of event handling. And we have seen what all methods are there and how of the document object which can be used. Now remember that we have not handled the data which can be typed in this web form, and when we click register and then handle the data which we are typing here. So we have just seen how messages can be displayed to the user so that there's some kind of an interaction between between the user, that is using an alert box that we can give an image. That is an alert box where we can give a message to the user, and then there is one confirmation. We can ask whether user agrees or not using yes, okay, and cancel, just like yes and no. And then third thing is we can even take the input from the user using a prompt method. So these are the three properties or objects which we have seen. Now we will. I mean, obviously, we need to go into detail of the what is this event handling. So with that, we will look at what all methods we can use with the document object. So I suppose that's all for today. And the next class, that is, I suppose, on Wednesday, we will take up the other part of the event handling. That is, we will look and we will first, complete the methods which are there in document object. Then we will go back to event handling, and we will look at other events which can be handled. So this is what I have it for today's class. So if there are any questions, let us clear, or we can wind up. What are the messages here? Are there any questions? No questions, only roll numbers. Anyway, are there any questions? I mean, any doubts regarding this session? Don't ask me about when is the when is the class test or internal and so and so. We have no idea about those things. Any questions about this session or about JavaScript and so and so? Okay, then, if not, we will wind up this class. Thank you very much.